Once upon a time, there was a king who had 12 beautiful daughters. They all slept in the same large bedroom, each in her own bed. Every night, the doors to their room were shut and locked. But somehow, by morning, their shoes were always completely worn out, as if they'd been dancing all night. No one knew how or where they had gone. The king was baffled and wanted answers. He made an announcement throughout the kingdom. Anyone who could figure out where his daughters went at night and what they were doing would be allowed to marry one of them, whichever he chose, and would become king after the current king died. But there was a catch. If anyone took on the challenge and failed after 3 nights, he would be executed. Before long, a prince stepped forward to try. He was treated well, given a room next to the princesses, and told to stay up and watch where they went. His door was left open so he could hear everything. But that night, the prince fell asleep, and when he woke up in the morning, the princess's shoes were full of holes again. The same thing happened the next 2 nights. So the king kept his word, and the prince lost his life. More men tried, but none succeeded, and they all met the same fate. One day, a wounded old soldier, no longer fit to fight, was passing through the kingdom. As he wandered through a forest, he came across an old woman who asked him where he was going. "I'm not really sure," said the soldier, "but I've heard about the mystery of the dancing princesses, and I think I'd like to try solving it. Who knows? Maybe I'll end up a king." "That's not as hard as it seems," said the old woman. "Just remember this. Don't drink any wine one of the princesses gives you, and pretend to fall asleep as soon as she leaves. Then use this." She handed him a cloak. "Put this on and you'll become invisible. You'll be able to follow them without being seen." The soldier thanked her and went straight to the palace to accept the challenge. He was welcomed just like the others and given fine clothes to wear. That evening, he was shown to his room. Before bed, the eldest princess brought him a cup of wine, but the soldier secretly poured it out and pretended to drink. Then he lay down and began snoring loudly as if in a deep sleep. The 12 princesses laughed when they heard him. "Another fool," said the eldest. "He could have made better choices than dying like this." They all got up, opened their drawers and chests, and pulled out fancy dresses and glittering shoes. As they dressed, they danced and laughed with excitement. But the youngest sister looked worried. "Something doesn't feel right," she said. "I have a bad feeling something's going to go wrong." "Oh, don't be silly," said the eldest. "How many princes have failed already? And this one drank the wine. I saw him. Even if he hadn't, he'd be out cold by now." Once ready, they checked on the soldier. He was snoring away, perfectly still. So the eldest went to her bed, clapped her hands, and suddenly it sank into the floor, revealing a hidden trapdoor. One by one, the princesses climbed down, with the eldest in the lead. As soon as they disappeared, the soldier got up, threw on the invisibility cloak, and followed them. But halfway down the stairs, he accidentally stepped on the hem of the youngest sister's gown. "Someone pulled my dress," she cried. "Don't be ridiculous," said the eldest. "It's just caught on a nail." They reached the bottom of the stairs and entered a magical forest where the trees shimmered with silver leaves. The soldier broke off a small branch to keep as proof, and the tree let out a loud crack. The youngest princess jumped. "Did you hear that? Something's not right." "Relax," said the eldest. "It's just the princes shouting with excitement." They moved on into another grove where all the trees had golden leaves, and then a third grove filled with sparkling diamond-covered trees. The soldier took a branch from each, and each time the trees made a loud noise. But the eldest brushed it off again and again. Finally, they reached a large, peaceful lake. There, 12 small boats waited, each with a handsome prince at the helm. The princesses each got into a boat, and the soldier slipped into the youngest sister's without anyone noticing. As they rowed, the prince in the same boat said, "Something's off. No matter how hard I row, we're moving slower than usual. I'm exhausted." "It's just the heat," said the youngest princess. "I feel warm too." Across the lake stood a glowing castle, filled with music and laughter. The group went inside, and each princess danced with her prince. The soldier, invisible, joined in too. No one noticed, except when he drank the wine from each cup before the princesses could. The youngest was especially alarmed, but the eldest kept dismissing her fears. They danced until 3 in the morning. By then, their shoes were worn out, so they had to stop. The princes rowed them back across the lake, and this time the soldier rowed with the eldest sister. Once they reached the other side, the princesses said goodbye to the princes and headed back up the stairs. The soldier raced ahead of them, took off his cloak, and lay down as if he'd never moved. The sisters returned exhausted, whispering that everything was fine. They undressed, put their clothes and shoes away, and went to bed. The next 2 nights, the same thing happened. The soldier followed them, danced, and collected evidence. On the final night, he took one of the golden cups from the castle. When it was time to tell the king what he had discovered, the soldier came before him with the 3 branches and the golden cup. Meanwhile, the princesses stood behind a door, listening in. "So," said the king, "where do my daughters go every night?" "They dance with 12 princes in a castle under the ground," the soldier answered. Then he described everything in detail and showed the king the proof he had brought. The king called in the princesses and asked if it was true. Knowing they'd been caught, they confessed everything. The king then asked the soldier which daughter he would like to marry. "I'm not exactly a young man," he said with a smile, "so I'll take the eldest." And so they were married that same day, and the brave soldier was named the king's heir.